Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. It is wonderful to be here with all of you today in beautiful West Palm Beach with two illustrious builders who have dreamed up the vision for the incredible, incredible place that they call home and that this conference will call home for, Mayor James, how many years?
At least 3 more years, I
At
understand.
least 3 more years.
Can you clap for that? That's great.
And so it's very seldom that you meet two gentlemen that have so much affinity towards each other that you're backstage and you realize that you are going to be joining them in a conversation that they have frequently because they have a long established friendship. Mr. Ross, can you tell me a little bit about this friendship and this business relationship and this community relationship that you have started here with Mayor James in West Palm Beach?
Well, it really starts when I first met Mayor James. I was a real estate developer and in New York and wanted to do impactful projects. And I kind of was at an age where I started the company, but my senior people had been with me for years, thought it was their time to take over. So I was, during the pandemic, I was looking at Florida, living down here during that period of time, and started seeing really the opportunities that were available, how the country was changing so much in every single aspect, plus politically and economically. And being here during that period of time, I saw the opportunities that are open here in Florida. And but you had to put it together to really create something. And, so I looked at all the needs that had to happen if Florida was really going to, I saw it as a place that would be like the next Silicon Valley, if you will, and saw how that grew. But it had to have, it needed education, it needed new hospitals, it needed additional amenities like golf courses where people would come, and to really create the next great place in Florida. And so, and we were developing here. We had an office. At that point, there was around 15 people. Today, we're 270 people, to give you an idea of how it's grown. And so, but then, developing, one building at a time, but then seeing the growth, and we were starting and listening to Mayor James, where I met him then, and where he talked about Florida and his idea and how he saw Florida as, and or West Palm Beach specifically, is creating a place for inclusive growth. And I really I kind of listened to him, and I thought, gee, this would be a great place to make this the model place for this country, the model city, and growing. And so that started a relationship. We were having a groundbreaking, and he was talking that way, and then I stood up. I said, wow, and kind of confirmed, hey, let's make this happen. And so we really created a friendship and have worked together. And you can't do it alone, and you need government to be part of any great growth story or any making great cities. It takes both the private and the public working together.
Mayor James, one of the things that in our conversations I've been so impacted by is your refrain on opportunity for all. And Mr. Ross is eliciting that in what he's saying, that you also impacted him when you were thinking about that opportunity and building the great city here in Florida. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you think about opportunity for all and how you build a more equitable, sustainable, growing West Palm Beach?
Well, thank you for that question. When I was campaigning for office in 2018, I was sworn in 2019, I came up with this slogan as I was on the campaign trail, that I wanted West Palm Beach to be a community of opportunity for all. By that, I wanted every boy and girl who grew up here, no matter their zip code, man and woman, no matter their skin color, to find something in this city a wagon, if you will, to which they could hitch their dreams. And that was well before all of this transformational growth started occurring, but it remained my North Star after I got sworn in and started serving. And it continues to be my North Star even today, because it is so important for anyone here, particularly the younger generation, to feel like this city works for them. So when I was in conversations with Stephen, I would say, listen, I don't need somebody to build me a pretty building. I need a partner to help me build a community, and a community where the benefits of the growth reach all four corners of the city. And so we were, I believe that vision that I articulated resonated. And I think that's the important thing in this relationship, is that I, as the private sector leader, the CEO of the city, it was important for me, A, to conceive, but B, to articulate a vision that I could now stick to and discuss with the private sector players and make sure and do my best to convince them to ride along with me in executing on that vision. And I could not have asked for a better partner than Stephen in this journey.
That partnership is coming to life as we're seeing the investments that are being made in particularly healthcare and education in West Palm Beach. And it is something that I invest in 26 communities across the United States. It's something that's uniquely happening in West Palm Beach. Mr. Ross, can you tell me a little bit more about that long-term vision that you have and why healthcare and education are pillars of how you're building that long-term vision?
Well, healthcare is easy to understand. It affects everybody, and people want to live in a community where they know they can get good healthcare. Palm Beach wasn't really known as that community. So one of the first things we did was to go out and really find a hospital and convince them to bring them here. And so we were able to, unfortunately enough, to get the Cleveland Clinic to build a new hospital here. And so we had to find them the land and raise the money for them. But we've got that, they're coming here, which is great.
That is fantastic.
Then you have to deal with education. Education is really, one of the primary aspects of growth, both for the community, plus outsiders looking at the community, of thinking of relocating here or living in there. So, when I came, we looked at the needs of what Palm Beach or West Palm Beach was and what it needed. And it was really like the service community at that point in time to Palm Beach. And it was, a city that had some rough aspects to it, let's put it that way. And so, but to give them, and it was really, and that young people, we want to feel that they can grow and live and there's opportunity. And so to kind of both reduce crime and give people the opportunity, we looked at the education system and saw that, today they didn't see that opportunity. So we set up a program for every student in the minority high schools in West Palm Beach to go to Palm Beach State College, which is a local school, and that so that and then, but they needed more than that. So we started with guidance counselors when they started in the 9th grade, and then every single student graduating from these schools would get scholarships to go to Palm Beach State. And it's really funny we had a program. This is like the first year of the graduates are there, and 70 of them. There was a meeting with all the school students, and I think 70 of them had signed up for it. And when they started talking about it, by the end of the day, they had 260 people signed up to go to school, and that'll probably rise to about somewhere close to 1,000 by the end of I think there's about 1,400 students, and we figure we're going to get 50 or 60%. And they all have to have 2.5 averages to qualify. So it's incredible what education can do to a community. It's probably the heart of it, and really it depends upon. So, I mean, that's where we started. Then we, brought in Vanderbilt University because no great community can not have a great school, and we were able to attract Vanderbilt with their graduate schools to open up a campus here.
I mean, it's incredible. I just want to make sure that, especially those of us that are not from here, that we let that sink in, that anyone can have access to opportunity and education and quality healthcare. This is a model that should be built in other cities across the United States. And Mayor James, I was joking with you backstage, but this invitation will be coming soon. How do we take the learnings that we're seeing in West Palm Beach and scale those to other communities? This model of public-private philanthropic engagement to build real pathways of opportunities for residents from all four corners.
I've been giving that a lot of thought. I'm entering my last year as mayor. And so it's probably inevitable that I start looking back and certainly appreciating what we have accomplished together with Stephen and other developers. And I said, well, is it because this is a once in a million chance, or can this be replicated? And I think it can. A few things are essential. The first is the public sector leader, in my case, the mayor, has to come up with a vision of what they want their community to be. My North Star, as I articulated earlier, is to make West Palm Beach a community of opportunity for all. And then the second part of my job was to create a canvas, an atmosphere in which private sector would feel comfortable investing billions of dollars in this city. So that talks about infrastructure investments. That includes public safety, investing in public safety so that people can feel safe in their community. And once that soil is tilled, if you will, or prepared, then we the city become more attractive to investors. So that same model can be replicated in cities around the country. Every city, I think, or every leader of a city should have an idea of what that city's strengths and weaknesses are. Do a SWOT analysis. As Steve said, one of the first things he did was start looking at what does West Palm Beach need? What does Palm Beach County need? Healthcare, education, as he mentioned, and also graduate education. But then it's also necessary, once those essentials are in place, to now communicate to the private sector. All right, I, as the leader of the city, the public sector representative, sitting down with the private sector and articulating and convincing your public sector partner that, yes, this is something we can and should work on together. Stephen Ross is very special, there's no question about it, but in every significant city, mid-sized to large city in America, there are going to be business people who have made their money in that particular city and who want that city to succeed and to be sustainable. So you, as the public sector leader, need to articulate your vision, work with them, and now you build this partnership. How can we together make this city a special place that it deserves to be? And so I think this model can be replicated around the country, and I'm interested in how it would play out if I do hit the road. And you think you want to hit the road with me, Steve?
I'm ready, baby.
You heard it here first. We're going on a road show.
But the biggest difference, really, I mean, having built across this country, is finding the leadership that Mayor James had, and that attitude towards working together with the private sector. I mean, it doesn't work. You can't build a city without a public sector and the private sector working together. And there's too many places where people just want to keep the status quo and not look to build and not look to the future And I think today we owe a responsibility to the children, the young people, to build for that future and not just, have a community that has said, hey, I don't want growth, and this is really the most difficult thing. I don't think I'm unique. I think the mayor is unique, and that's why people are really looking and seeing what's happening here in West Palm Beach.
I would offer that both of you are quite unique because there is an ability to both be pragmatic, lay out a plan and a vision, and stick to that plan, while also dreaming about the future that we want to see and ensuring that innovation is a key piece of that. Mr. Ross, I think about not just your healthcare and education investments. I think about your innovation and resilience investments. I think about the way that you're working with the Florida Council on 100. I think about the way that you're taking the learnings from New York and bringing them here. How do you maintain the agility to both be focused on executing today while envisioning the future?
Well, I think the role of a developer is really embodying all that and really applying it, to that. But you have to live in an environment where it is really conducive to growth. And I think Florida represents, I believe, the best state in this country for growth. And that's an important aspect of it because you have to attract business and you got to attract jobs and a place where people want to live. And if you don't bring that all together, you're doing like a lot of the cities that you're really fighting time. Look at what's going on in so many of our cities up north today, with the issues, the political issues, and where people want to be able to come to a place where they know they're going to get a great education, where it's going to be safe, and it wants to grow, because really our future is the youth, and it is growth.
Let me insert one thing here because I think it goes to the relationship that Stephen and I have. One of the things that Stephen brings to the table, and like two things. One is he is not transactional; he's transformational. And I think, yes, that deserves a round of applause. What he's doing, he's more concerned about building and transforming a city, as opposed to being transactional, building a building here, building a building there, flipping the buildings, making his money, and riding off into the sunset. If that was his mindset, and this is the man who envisioned and built Hudson Yards in New York, which I'm sure it was the largest real estate development in this country's history. That could have been his legacy, but he saw something here in West Palm Beach and said he wanted to continue on the path, and he's not a young man. He's young looking, but he's not a young man, so he could have hung up the spurs. So he is transformational and not transactional. But the other thing is, and I tell people this when I describe Stephen, he is not putting his money where his mouth is. He is truly putting his money where his heart is, because he is passionate about the work that we're doing together in West Palm Beach. Which is a significant difference. This is a matter of passion for him because he sees the opportunity of doing, and as he said, doing something that has not been done in any city in the United States, making it a model city. Is that correct?
Correct.
I listen to you sometimes.
You're making
too.
this sound like a love fest.
All right.
I started
I didn't bring up
talking
the
about
Dolphins. I could have brought up the Dolphins,
I started talking about the dynamic of these two incredible leaders, and it is really so refreshing to see such a partnership between the public and the private sector. On behalf of Tomorrow.City, thank you so much to both of you for being here today. Thank you so much for being a part of day one of this amazing conference and to many more spectacular days in West Palm Beach. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, buddy.